I'm sure you all know that I'm not a politician. I don't belong to any political party. I've never been governor, or neither do I ever hope to be. As a matter of fact, each time I travel throughout the world and I have the opportunity of visiting heads of states, I always come out of there thanking God that I'm a pastor. Because when you consider all the protocols, all the security checks, you can only come to the conclusion that it's easier to see Jesus Christ than to see some of our heads of states. But before I became a pastor, I was a mathematician, an applied mathematician. And mathematicians they practically live their lives solving problems. You see, when we begin to talk about Nigeria, so in the year 2060, the first question that a mathematician will want to ask is, one, are we sure there will be Nigeria in the year 2060? In other words, you're talking about something that you are not 100% sure will be there at the time you are talking about it. You see, because before we can begin to discuss Nigeria of 2060, we need to address the problems that we have right now, that if these problems are not solved, then this will be just an academic exercise. Not that I don't enjoy the exercise. I mean, it's very refreshing. But you see, I think on one of the occasions when I was on a long flight from London to Singapore, a journey of about 13 hours or something. And then I was thinking about Nigeria. And I have these thoughts within myself, which I think I will just share with you. By the time I finish sharing it, you are likely to consider it a joke from a mathematician, because after all, mathematicians can be eccentric at times. I just felt that why can't we have a system of government that is 100% Nigeria, unique to us? For example, we started off with the British system of government. Somewhere along the line, we moved over to the American system of government. And I was just wondering, can't we have a combination of both and see whether it could help us solve a problem? You see, because in mathematics, if you want to solve a problem and you try what we call real analysis and it doesn't work, then you move on to complex analysis and see if that will help you. If that fails, you move on to vector analysis and so on. I believe that probably we might need to look at the problem of Nigeria in a slightly different manner. You see, because some people feel that all our problems will be over if Nigeria should break up. I think that is trying to solve the problem of Nigeria as if it's a simple equation problem. The problems of Nigeria will require quite a bit of simultaneous equations, and some of them are not going to be linear either. Forgive me, I'm talking as a mathematician. So I was thinking, why can't we, for example, have a system of government that will create a kind of what I would call United States of Nigeria? And let me explain. We all know that we must restructure. I mean, it's either we restructure or we break. That means, say, you don't have to be a prophet to know that one. That is certain to come, restructure or break up. Now, we don't want to break up. I mean, God forbid. In restructuring, why don't we have, like I said, a Nigerian kind of democracy? At the federal level, for example, why don't we have a president and a prime minister? Hey, what do you mean? Well, if we have a president and a prime minister, and we share responsibilities between these two, so that one is not an appendage of the other. For example, if the president controls the army and the prime minister controls the police, if the president controls, shall we say, resources like oil and mining, and the prime minister controls finance and inland revenue, taxes and customs, etc., etc. You just divide the responsibilities between the two. And then you come to the state level. And at the state level, you have the governor and you have a premier. And again, you distribute responsibilities between these people in such a manner that one cannot really go all alone without the other. Maybe this is just a mathematical suggestion, and a mathematician can be eccentric, like I've said. Maybe we might begin to tackle the problem. And if we're going to adopt this model, which you eminent personalities will be able to talk about, I think then we will need urgently to restore what we used to call the House of Chiefs. I have a feeling that one of our major problems is that we have pushed the traditional rulers to the background. And I believe that's a great error, particularly for a country like Nigeria. You see, I find it very ridiculous that one will ask a traditional ruler to inform the chairman of his local government before he travels. Go to any town in Nigeria. Everybody in the town knows who is the paramount ruler, and they respect him. Many of them don't even know the name of the chairman of their local government. The traditional rulers are the actual landlords. They control the respect of their people. Their people would listen to them much more than, I'm sorry to say, they will listen to some politicians. And so just like they have, say, the House of Lords in Britain, why can't we have the House of Chiefs? We might expand it and include in that House of Chiefs, as they do in Britain, include some religious leaders, bishops. I'm not a bishop, I'm a pastor, so don't think I'm including myself. Bishops, chief imams, and so on and so on. These are people who can shape the opinions of the people. I'm just putting that one as a little presentation to those of you who can think about it. Maybe it will help us to get Nigeria going. And then, without any doubt, we must restructure and do it as soon as possible. A United States of Nigeria is likely to survive much more than our present structure.